Hi everyone, it wasn't long ago when I installed the Eagle GX drivetrain on my bike. Since then I've moved it to a new bike. I have also given you comparisons between the rear derailleur X01 versus GX. I did the same for the shifter. I have also given you a quick review of these X01 cranks, carbon cranks, and the oval chainring, and I'll put all those in the description of the video. But today I have the X01 cassette, so XG-1295, and I will take a closer look at it and compare it with the GX or XG-1275. After about half a season of use, you can see the wear here on the cassette. It's mostly cosmetic. I don't see any deterioration in the performance. And I can only complain about a few things. One is the fact that the chain gets out of sync with the narrow wide profile of these two biggest cogs. Also, you will get a tiny bit of chain rub here when the chain is on the smaller cogs. This is boot spacing bike, and with the chain line it provides, I cannot make this completely silent no matter what I do. But let me take this cassette off and take a closer look at it next to the more expensive X01. You can see here the chain out of sync with that 42. See how it's riding on top of the teeth. And here it is on the 50. Now this is very rare with this X01 derailleur. As for noise, right around here, when you put the power down, you're gonna hear that. Nothing horrible, so definitely I'm being picky over here. Just like the rest of the X01 drivetrain, cassette comes in a black box, and here it is. Just by looking at the Eagle GX and X01 side by side, you can easily say which one is more expensive. Mind you, the X01 is pretty much twice the price of the GX. The major difference between the two, though, is the way they are constructed. And yes, they both offer the 500% gear range that's clearly stated over here. Start at 10, finish with a 50 tooth, which is an alloy sprocket. The gear spacing is exactly the same. Here on the GX, you can see these pins used to attach the 50 tooth to the other 11 stamped steel cogs, also held in place using the same pins. That's the reason why this is also called a full pin cassette. This is the same tech they introduced with their 11-speed drivetrains in 2014. Clearly stated here on the back is XG-1275 1050 tooth Eagle technology. That's for the GX cassette. Looking at the X01 XG-1295 1050 tooth Eagle Tech. The coating of this alloy cog on the back is different. This is gray, the other one is black, but otherwise they seem to be using or reusing the same piece of aluminum. And you look at the teeth over here, they seem to be matching exactly. With the exception of the NX, all other 11 and 12 speed cassettes from SRAM use an XD driver. You can see that threaded area over there that's covered in grease right now. Also, you have a bushing right up top there that is greased up already. So this cassette is ready to be installed. I would also suggest to put a bit of grease here on the splines before you do that. Looking at the build, yes, this seems to be using the same 50 tooth sprocket that's used on the GX. But aside from that, the other 11 cogs here, these are all machined from one piece of chromoly steel. That is a very expensive process, and that also gives it the lighter weight. 448 for the GX, and by installing an X01 you are saving exactly 94 grams, because this one comes down to 354 grams. With the bike dirty from my last race, and after about 100 kilometers of use, you can see the shifting on this X01 cassette being nice and smooth. I thought it was important to show you real life shifting with my full suspension being under sag. That is because it affects the B-gap adjustment, and the B gap is one of the most important adjustments for an Eagle drivetrain. Grabbing a whole bunch of gears at once, something that is very common on a mountain bike, is no problem. Also, grabbing a whole bunch of gears on the power makes it even noisier, and that is when you might notice the chain coming out of sync with the two biggest cogs. Usually you would hear a big bang as the chain shifts into the right position in sync with the narrow wide profile of the either 42 or the 50 tooth cog. By the way, the noise that you heard during my test with the chain on the 50 tooth was nothing else but the chain rubbing on that GoPro mount. So sorry about that. What do I think about these two cassettes now that we're at the end of this test? Well, if the bike comes with X01, I would say just enjoy the cassette. It's beautifully made and you save 100 grams. If you don't care about the 100 grams and you care more about the money in your pocket, I would say go for the GX cassette. It works just fine. I don't see any major improvement on the X01, even though the cassette is built quite differently. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the Eagle drivetrain. But I have to tell you, can't wait to try a cassette like this with the newly released XTR shifter and rear derailleur. For more information about this stuff, check out the links in the description. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment on the vid. And that's it, guys. I will see you all on the trails. Cheers.